Hello, and welcome to the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Service Awards. I want to thank you for joining us on a day when we honor a true American hero, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a legend in the civil rights movement. Dr. King, his words, and his actions have inspired us for many generations. Now more than ever, we take pride in recognizing the contributions of a man who fought tirelessly yet peacefully for equality and justice. In considering the reprehensible violent events that took place last week in our nation's capital, I want to say that we renounce that attempted violent overthrow of our government, and we want to see anyone, and I mean anyone, brought to swift justice who was involved in that. It is very fitting, though, that we reflect now on Dr. King, who has become a symbol of nonviolent action. Dr. King taught us that we must stand together with one united voice. And he taught us to do so peacefully, especially during our darkest days. So St. Joseph's proudly hosts the annual Service Awards to honor Dr. King and his countless contributions. While the program may look different this year as we bring it to you through video, what remains is the same gratitude we feel for the hard work of our nominees and the commitment to service we all share. St. Joseph's was founded by the Sisters of Charity of St. Elizabeth over 153 years ago, and the sisters, ourselves, and Dr. King share the same value of service. We couldn't be prouder today to recognize those individuals in our community who have committed to a lifetime of service. Employees throughout St. Joseph's were asked to nominate colleagues and community members who they feel embody Dr. King's spirit. The nominations this year, as they do every year, reflect exceptional people who do outstanding work. We want to thank all of our nominees for sharing their passion and talents in helping make our community a better place to live and work. Thank you very much.
Let us take a moment and put ourselves in the presence of our loving God. And so we pray this day. Almighty and loving God, your generous gift of leadership to rise above the crowds and to become symbols of hope and passion to all of us is given only to a few people. We thank you for these persons, from Moses and Jesus to Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and for the way they remind us of your care, of your grace, for all the little ones of this earth. We praise you today on Dr. King's birthday for the qualities that shaped his life, for a strong sense of justice that regarded all souls as having importance in your eyes, for an unshakable belief in love and gentleness that would not permit him to turn to violence in order to achieve his dreams, for a commitment to sacrifice that led him forward without regard for his own safety, and for an ultimate trust in you that you, our God, would never abandon those who stand up for truth, for righteousness in our world. We mourn what the world did to him, the pain, the degradation, and finally his death. But we celebrate the dream for which he stood, a society where the lion and the lamb would lie down together, and the children of all races and backgrounds would mingle together in sweetness and in harmony of spirit. Help us, Creator God, to be as committed to that dream as he was, to care as much about the poor and disenfranchised as he did, to be prepared to pay the price that he paid to ensure its ultimate success. Teach us to love all women and men as our sisters and brothers. Teach us to care as much about their welfare as we care about our own. Grant that we shall always have heroes whom we admire for their moral clarity, their unremitting courage, and their passion for righteousness. Grant that we may always promote the justice the acceptance that ensures lasting peace and racial harmony. God of love, help us always to remember that we are one world and one human family.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. That message should resonate now more than ever in our country. And I want to thank St. Joseph's Hospital for always remembering the man, the message, and his mission. So I want to congratulate all of the winners that are part of this awards ceremony and thank St. Joseph's Hospital for leading from the front during this pandemic. Patterson is proud to be a partner of St. Joseph's Health.
Hello. For those of you who have not yet had the privilege of meeting, my name is Ken Morris, Jr. I am the Vice President of External Affairs at St. Joseph's Health. It is my honor today to introduce to you the two dynamic co-chairs of St. Joseph's Health African American Affinity Group. These phenomenal women will recognize the men and women who, through their selfless acts, have done extraordinary work in our communities. Men and women who epitomize the hopes and dreams of Dr. Martin Luther King. Individuals who knew how to separate the extraordinary from the ordinary, and who also understand that a community's salvation does not rely on motivation, but inspiration. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Miss Doreen Mitchell and Miss Shekinah Murray.
Hello, my name is Doreen Mitchell Monroe, and I'm here with Shekinah Murray. We are the co-chairs of the St. Joseph's Health African American Affinity Group. On behalf of our group and the entire St. Joseph's family, we welcome you to our 6th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Service Awards. We are extremely grateful to Kevin Slavin, the President and CEO of St. Joseph's Health, Sister Pat Minner, Vice President of Mission, Amber Murat, Director of Organizational Development, and Ken Morris, Vice President of External Affairs, for entrusting our group with both the challenge and opportunity to honor Dr. King. Through this program today, our aim is to pay tribute to Dr. King by honoring ordinary people who, through their extraordinary acts, have made a meaningful impact on the lives of not only African Americans, but all people in northern New Jersey. It is our great honor to applaud the efforts of our 2021 Service Award recipients. Each of these individuals realizes the vision and continues the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. through their dedication to serve and make a difference in the lives of others. For the 2021 awards, nominations were submitted in 3 categories to our Community Outreach Department. It gives us great pride to announce the winners.
Today's first awards, the St. Joseph's Health Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. 2021 Community Health Awards, are presented to individuals who have demonstrated a strong commitment to promoting the health and well-being of African American people. With a record of improving access to care, expanding care, or educating people about the risk for illness or adapting good health practices, these individuals have also successfully collaborated with community partners to enhance the health and well-being of African Americans and all people in northern New Jersey. The nominees are Dr. Mohammed Rabat, Dr. Charlene Gungle, and Zelly Thomas. I am pleased to present the first 2021 St. Joseph's Health Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Health Award to Dr. Charlene Gungle. As Passaic County's Health Officer and Director, Dr. Gungle protects and promotes the health of approximately 510,000 residents within 16 municipalities throughout Passaic County. Dr. Gungle coordinates regular programs, including public health outreach events that bring awareness to ongoing public health threats. She's the creator of the Emergency Health Planning Task Force, an organization dedicated to developing a comprehensive emergency operations plan for each acute care facility while providing training for hospital personnel. Dr. Gungle serves as the co-chair of the PCHC and director of the Passaic County Health Department, where she works to improve several core community health needs such as bring access to primary and preventative care for many Patterson residents and bring awareness to substance misuse and mental health disorders which contribute to poor health outcomes. Dr. Gungle also serves on multiple committees that directly make an impact on African Americans, such as the Health Coalition of Passaic County, Passaic County Food Policy Council, and the Partnership for Maternal and Child Health. In Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s honor, Dr. Gungle works to fight for the public health rights of Passaic County's most vulnerable residents, specifically in the area of access to medical care and malnutrition. Congrats, Dr. Gungle. Thank you for contributing to the health of the community.
Thank you for nominating me for the Martin Luther King Community Health Award. I feel honored and humbled that during this hectic time, someone noticed my work and wanted to let me know. You see, I am passionate about public health. It is not just my vocation, it is my avocation. I have devoted my 30-year career to be of service to others. Martin Luther King said, "The time is always right to do what is right." COVID-19 has shown us that the reason for doing right is not short and easy, but is long and grueling. I and thousands of other public health professionals get up every day with the realization that people are counting on us to be there for them. That gives me and my colleagues everything we need to continue to serve. It is a privilege to have a livelihood that is in service to others. I will continue to do this work wherever I am for as long as I can. Thanks again, and remember to wear a mask, remain socially distant, wash your hands, and stay safe. Peace.
I am pleased to posthumously honor Dr. Mohammed Rabat with the 2021 St. Joseph's Health Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Health Award. Accepting on his behalf is his loving family, Mohammed and Dina Fawad. As a physician at St. Joseph's Health for nearly 30 years, Dr. Mohammed Rabat advocated for the needs of the patients he served. On more than one occasion, Dr. Rabat ventured away from the bedside to conduct clinical research to bring life-saving treatment options to his patients when traditional medicine fell short. Given the rigorous demands of clinical trials, especially during the recent coronavirus pandemic, this was not a small sacrifice. Dr. Rabat cared for his patients daily and in the evening sought out patients who needed unconventional life-saving treatments. In doing so, he enabled patients to receive a second chance at life, and this ultimately contributed to the global way physicians at St. Joseph's Health will treat COVID-19 for years to come. Dr. King said, "Of all the forms of inequality, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane." Each day, Dr. Rabat rose to this occasion, bringing the compassionate care to the Patterson community and beyond.
It's an honor and a privilege to be accepting this award on behalf of my father-in-law, Dr. Rabat. If he were here with us today, he would be humbled and gracious to be receiving such an award. He would also try to crack a joke to make everyone laugh and smile. He dedicated almost 30 years of his professional career caring for the underserved community of the city of Patterson. To him, it was a privilege to be able to impact the lives of so many, and in the process, he inspired those around him to become even better people. I will always remember his advice to me and Dina whenever we would discuss our career paths with him. He would always advise us not to chase jobs that earn you a higher pay, but rather pursue jobs dedicated to serving those who are unable to care for themselves. He lived by this guiding principle. His teaching and memory will live on within us and all those he cared for and mentored. He will always be dearly missed and never forgotten. May he rest in peace.
The St. Joseph's Health Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. 2021 Community Education Awards are presented to individuals who have demonstrated a strong commitment to promoting education at all levels and expanding the knowledge and awareness of African Americans and all people on a wide range of issues. These individuals have inspired or empowered others to identify goals for achievement and help them to achieve those goals. The nominees are Shaniqua Lemon and Jennifer Brady. I am pleased to present the 2021 St. Joseph's Health Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Education Award to Shaniqua Lemon. From high school throughout college and to this day, Shaniqua has been deeply rooted in her community. In high school, she volunteered on many youth committees and was continuously involved in community outreach projects that serviced the many African Americans in her community, such as food and coat drives, community cleanups, and tutoring and mentoring programs. She's also helped spearhead and participated in the Mural by the Falls and the Movies at the Falls, all of which are highlighted in the revitalization efforts made to bring focus back to the historic site. She began her own educational business, Beyond the Books Tutoring and Childcare Inc., which has enabled her to provide stellar tutoring and mentoring programs to various children and adults within Paterson and other cities. As a way to further empower everyone in her community, she also offers childcare, transportation, resume building, and job search programs and adult literacy. Shaniqua makes it her daily mission to make sure the children of Paterson are provided the same education, care, and love as their counterparts. Just as Dr. King, despite any disadvantages or obstacles, Shaniqua fights for what she believes is right and will leave a momentous legacy as well.
Receiving the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Award for Education is such an honor. I would like to express my greatest gratitude to the St. Joseph's Health Committee members and Travell Zimmerman for her nomination. None of my work is possible without the gifts, talents, and skills given to me from our Heavenly Father. I am thankful and blessed to hold a burning passion with the purpose of creating a love for learning within my community. With the City of Paterson regaining local control of our schools, I deeply urge us all to immediately get involved and engage with educating our children. They need us all, and we have the power and intelligence to reimagine education. In reference to my tutoring business, we must go beyond the books to collaborate, partner, and bring more educational opportunities to our children. Receiving this award encourages me to continue my efforts, such as my Brown Faces Family Book Club in partnership with the Paterson Public Library and Family Math Nights, and also other community initiatives that I believe are essential to motivating our youth. I am encouraged to improve reading and math skills, incorporating more creative art initiatives, and exposing our children to entrepreneurship and life skills such as financial literacy. There is so much that our youth are deserving of, and we must do our best to provide for them. Lastly, I would like to thank the community of Paterson for embracing my efforts. For true change, we need one another. Yes, we are in the midst of a pandemic, but I truly feel we will come out stronger than ever before. As stated by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. himself, the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character. That is the goal of true education. Thank you again for this honor as I strive to live up to and aspire to be an agent of change, just like Dr. King. Thank you again.
The St. Joseph's Health Community Empowerment Awards are presented to individuals who have demonstrated a strong commitment to improving the African American community through the development or expansion of programs and services, promoting safety, security, and well-being, and advocating or developing new initiatives that promote ongoing improvement and provide hope. The nominees are Reverend Eric Saldwell, Dr. Liza Chowdhury, Dr. Lalisa Mims, Bishop Reggie Hall Sr. I am pleased to present the first 2021 St. Joseph's Health Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Empowerment Award to Dr. Liza Chowdhury. Dr. Chowdhury's contribution to community empowerment stems from her desire to create a better social environment for the Patterson-Passaic County community. As a criminologist and the director of the Patterson Healing Collective, PHC, she utilizes her expertise in transformative mentoring, credible messengers, case management, trauma, and cross-agency collaboration to serve the community of Patterson. The PHC works in partnership with St. Joseph's Health to provide one-on-one, ongoing support to individuals who have been victims of gun violence or stabbings, aiming to break the cycle of violent crime and reduce recidivism within the community. Dr. Chowdhury and her partner Jason Davis founded Reimagining Justice, a 501c3 nonprofit agency to provide mentorship to youth while educating stakeholders about the impact gang and violence has on communities. She also collaborated with Dr. James Pruden as part of the Village Initiative, in which law enforcement partnered with healthcare providers to deliver community-based preventive care to local justice-involved youth and their families. Like Dr. King, Dr. Chowdhury preaches nonviolence as a tactic to disrupt oppressive systems and create lasting change. She promotes an alternative model of public safety that addresses the root causes of why at-risk communities turn to violence. Rather than implement a new violence intervention program with grant funding, she collaborated with local community leaders already engaging in this work, for example, the Street Keepers, to build on existing resources of the community. Congratulations, Dr. Chowdhury. Thank you for your efforts to continually empower the community.
I am extremely honored to accept the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Empowerment Award. It has been a long-time vision of mine to be able to bring resources to the community of Patterson, especially for those who are impacted by violence. The Patterson Healing Collective is a manifestation of that vision. Our team of community leaders and hospital leaders working together for a common purpose proves that when you put great minds together with one purpose, you can move mountains. I live by Dr. Martin Luther King's quote, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." Our motto at the Patterson Healing Collective is to exemplify radical love so that the community of Patterson can heal, then grow, and thrive. Thank you again for this honor. It is one of my life's greatest joys to serve this community with the most hardworking and passionate people I have ever met. Thank you, Dr. Pruden, Melissa, Tracy, Steve, Ken, Kevin, and all of St. Joseph's leadership team for supporting this vision. Thank you most of all to my Patterson Healing Collective team for putting this vision into action.
I am pleased to present the second 2021 St. Joseph's Health Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Empowerment Award to Bishop Reggie Hall, Sr. Having worked in various levels of management within the financial industry, Bishop Reggie Hall now passes on that knowledge to children within the Patterson School District as a high school business teacher and previously as an adjunct professor at Bloomfield College. As a member of the Highway Church of Christ, Patterson, New Jersey, for over 20 years, Bishop Hall served in various ministries and departments at the local, district, and national level. Recently, Pastor Hall was elevated to the office of bishop in the United Covenant Churches of Christ, UCCC. He is now the Chief Academic Officer and General Board Member of Kingdom International Consortium, a new fellowship that braids both ministry and business together. He also launched a new ministry with his wife called Progressive Faith Ministries, Inc., a ministry dedicated to advancing the message of Christ and addressing the needs of pastors, leaders, and laity through the paradigm of kingdom-building principles, while simultaneously undergirding our youth as the leaders of our tomorrow. Congratulations, Bishop Reggie L. Hall.
It is with great humility and deference that I accept the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Empowerment Award. Reverend King was a community empowering agent of God that affected an entire generation, and the progeny of that generation, for the most part, continues to affect change in the communities they serve and live in today. When we empower communities, we empower its citizenry to such an extent that when those communities are seen through the lens of relevance, one will be able to see a residentiary corpus prepared to add value of being a contributing member of society, both domestic and global. Reverend King's life was one, as espoused by many and witnessed by a cavalcade of followers, rooted in God and community. And those two elements of the human experience allows for the advancement of the purpose of what it really means to not only be a part of a community, but to also be an igniting factor, propelling the community proper to be a beacon of light, hope, prosperity, and security. Jesus empowered a community of 12 men, and those 12 men, through their undeterred preaching and teaching, empowered a community of church fathers, and they in turn, through successive generations of community-minded individuals, empowered today's assemblage of like-minded individuals who understand that a community cannot exist without the individuals that make them up. And in order for a group, indeed that community, to be effective and survive for the next generation, there must by necessity be someone or some persons in the group willing to teach well those things they need to know. I thank St. Joseph's University Healthcare System for nominating me for this award, and I pray and hope that my continued endeavors in the communities that I serve always live up to the communal standards so set by the late and Honorable Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I thank my wife and children for continuously encouraging me to do all that I can do to help those I teach, reach, and preach to become the best members of their own respective communities, thereby fulfilling the practical edict of the Apostle Paul to the church at Rome: look not every man on his own things, but also on the things of others. Thank you.
Thank you for the privilege of offering a few closing remarks today. As the Vice President of Mission, I feel strongly about keeping Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy alive here at St. Joseph's Health. The Sisters of Charity of St. Elizabeth, the sponsors of St. Joseph's Health, are committed to peace and justice. And this is what this event represents: honoring a great African American leader who promoted equality and human rights for African Americans, the economically disadvantaged, and all victims of injustice through peaceful protest. I think all will agree that if there is a time we need to follow Martin Luther King's principles, it is right now. I would like to congratulate the nominees and winners of today's awards. All of you model Dr. King's principles and values. These ideals are integral to your life and work, and St. Joseph's definitely benefits from our relationship with you. We are grateful for that. I would also like to congratulate the African American Affinity Group for another successful MLK event. You also are great examples of King's legacy, and we thank you for keeping his spirit alive through this event. I'd like to end by asking us all to pray for peace and healing in our nation. I believe if Dr. King were alive, he would be encouraging us to do so. So let us join him in saying, love is creative and redemptive. Love builds up and unites. Hate tears down and destroys. Let us all pray for peace. Amen.